Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I wasn't supposed to lock it?
We're recording.
Okay, thank you.
I'll call the Tuesday, February 13th, 2024 regular meeting of the Knox County Commission to order. The first thing we usually do is open it up for public comment. Is there anybody who would like to address the commission? Seeing as there's none, we'll move on to the consent items. On the agenda, we have a number of consent items, which include the agenda itself, minutes of the regular commission meeting of December 12th, 2023, minutes of the special commission meeting of December 29th, minutes of the regular commission meeting of January 9th, minutes of the special commission meeting of January 22nd, also January 30th, also February 5th and February 7th. We also have the monthly written department reports, warrants, and reserve withdrawals. I will entertain a motion to approve all of those.
I move we approve the consent items as presented.
Any discussion? I will second it, since I'm here. I don't think there's any discussion other than to thank all the departments once again for the reports. We do read them. If there's nothing else, I'll call the vote. All those in favor? 2 in favor. Action items. The first one we have is an act to approve the request for qualifications for a multi-year aviation consultant for the Knox County Regional Airport. And we have the airport administrator here, or the airport director here. Would you like to educate us?
Sure, absolutely. I sent an email to Wendy last night. The APAC met and recommended a few changes for the RFQ. Basically, just because it's a very lengthy process, and the APAC is charged with reviewing multiple documents that end up being, you know, at times 40, 50 pages at a time. It's a lot for someone that's not actually involved in day-to-day operations, whether it's solar or engineering, to really fathom what they're looking at. So they recommended a few changes to streamline the original document that I had sent out in your packets. I believe I sent Wendy an updated one based on their revisions. One of the concerns over the last year have been that when the county puts out a request for qualifications, that it heavily favors the incumbent. It's not very competitive. Our current aviation consultant has been employed by Knox County for 22, 24 years, something like that, a very long time. So the discussion was, how do we make that more competitive? So we looked at the RFQ, the request for qualifications, and it was really determined that a lot of the stuff didn't dig deep enough, and they wanted some factors that would dig a little bit deeper into a company's performance. Most of the parties interested in doing business with Knox County have extensive projects throughout the New England region, and so we added a performance factor in the statement preparation. We've asked that they demonstrate all aviation projects undertaken in New England in the last 4 years by providing the following: the original engineering and construction estimates and total final project engineering costs and estimates for each project, the original proposed schedule and any delays and schedule overruns with the reason for the delay for each project. So that gives us more of a performance. Like, does the county want to do business with someone that's habitually over budget and over schedule? There are some controlling mechanisms in there for that industry to be able to control that. But it just gives us more in-depth insight into who we may be dealing with. So they felt like the addition of that would be make that more competitive. The balance of the different criteria, experience or local knowledge, I believe was weighted, it's either local knowledge or experience was weighted 40%. But it was so heavily favored that the incumbent almost always received all the points for it, and the other interested parties received no points, even though they had done research and have access to all of our projects and stuff like that. So the one thing that came up with doing that was that was going to increase the number of pages. So back in section 1 under general information in the third paragraph, we added that statements shall be limited to 25 pages, excluding item F in section 3 in statement preparation. So that means that if because one of the statements by the consultants that were at the APAC last night was that that could be a lot of projects. While it's good information and we don't want it to be overly burdensome, so we have further refined it by saying all the aviation projects, because a number of consultants don't just deal with aviation stuff, they deal with highways and other modes of transportation. So, so from the document that I originally sent you, those were the two changes, adding an exemption for the section F for the number of projects they've undertaken, and that we've refined it to aviation experience for the RFQ. So this should have gone out in December, but there was a lot of work that the APAC wanted to do to publish a better RFQ, and so we've just been going through that process. Obviously, they meet every 2 months. So we originally had planned to meet in January. Storms, delays, sickness. We were just able to hold the meeting last night. So, but yeah, so that's what's before you, and this is for a 4-year engineering and consultant contract.
I don't believe we moved this and seconded it. Would you be willing to move this?
Sure.
And I'll second it.
I move we approve the request for qualifications RFQ for a multi-year aviation consultant for the Knox County Regional Airport.
And I'll second it. Another question I had was, this is a requirement because we have federal grant funds.
Correct.
Is there a timeline on when we have to get this contract awarded?
So the incumbent can continue their contract under the same terms for as long as it takes us to do this. But obviously the timelines with federal funding, with projects that are coming up this year, we have to award projects very soon. And if we award to our incumbent, if there's a change, it gets messy. So no, it can go on forever if you guys want. But the sooner we wrap up the regular process, the sooner we're able to continue with the
Is
project.
there a deadline for when these requests have to be in?
There is, yeah, it's on there. So in the RFQ, it states that any consultant that has questions has to submit their questions by February 29th. I will answer them by March 1st, and then their submissions are due by March 4th. So that's the deadline. March 4th at 4 p.m. will be the conclusion of the RFQ.
Any other discussion? Seeing as none, all those in favor? 2 in favor, and all those opposed? No, nobody is opposed. The second one we have is an act to approve and authorize the chair to sign and execute the operating agreements between Knox County and Penobscot Island Air at the Knox County Regional Airport.
I move we table this action item based on information provided by the airport manager.
It's been moved to table it. Any discussion?
Yeah, I'd like to just briefly describe why there are 2 agreements. So back in 2019, the PIA operating agreement expired. It didn't get renewed under the old airport manager, and then I took over in 2020. We discovered it after the CARES Act money was received. So we knew we were going to be redesigning the relationship between the county and PIA with the construction of the new terminal hangar. So that agreement, it was agreed to that we would just extend that contract based on the old terms, the same payments and all that stuff, until a future date. So obviously with the delays in the construction of the terminal hangar building, that has gone on now till 2024. And so legal has provided us an operating agreement as well as a hangar lease agreement. So the reason we separated that was because in discussions with legal, if Penobscot Island Air wasn't interested in the future in renting that building, they would still be able to operate at the airport under an operating agreement. So we'd still see the revenue, the percentage of the revenue from the gross sales. But they now have purchased, when we sold the Benner Lane hangars, they purchased one of the bigger Benner Lane hangars. And then they have 3 or 4 other hangars at the airport that they can use in case that building became too financially burdensome for them. So you have 2 leases that we were hoping to have for you today. The operating agreement and the terminal hangar lease. The terminal hangar lease is a fixed rate, and the operating agreement is a percentage on top of that. So legal we presented that to them last week, and it was, there's some problems with it. So their legal now is just working through that. It'll come back to us, but we weren't able to get it done for this meeting. So by the next meeting, we'll have the final agreed upon operating agreement and lease agreement for your signature. But we're just not ready yet.
So you'd like us to table both of these?
Yes, please.
Any other discussion? Any other discussion?
No, thank you.
Seeing none, we'll vote to table the first one, or number 2. All those in favor? And then the next one is an act to approve and authorize the chair to sign a lease agreement with, for the Kevin P. Waters Memorial Flight Center between Knox County and Penobscot Island Air.
I move we table number 3 as well.
And I'll second the tabling. And this is the same, it's still in the middle of legal limbo?
Correct. Yep. So our county, our legal approved it, and it's gone to Penobscot Island Air's legal, and they're working through it now. So they just have a couple requested changes, and in conversations with our legal, they're amenable to it. It was a very broad statement for some things, and we're just narrowed down a little bit. So.
Have both of these contracts been through the Airport Advisory Committee?
These contracts aren't usually something that would go through those committees. No.
Any other discussion? Seeing as none, the vote to table. All those in favor? 2 in favor, none opposed. The fourth one we have here, an act to approve and authorize the chair to sign an extension on the Knox Waldo PSAP agreement. And second. Discussion. Are you willing to?
This is an extension. The reason we're asking for the chair to sign is Waldo County's chair has also looked at the document. You should receive that from legal counsel for review. But Waldo's commission wants to see it in their session, which is on this Thursday. The chair and I have been invited to that, so that once they approve it at their commission meeting, both chairs can then sign the agreement. So this is just in preparation for that meeting to authorize the chair to sign after that meeting. And all this is just an extension of the same terms. The extension is going to be through, I believe we said May, is that correct, Bob?
Hopefully May 1st. That will be when we have everybody that is currently there opted certified. So, and everything that we need to have to get 911 back into Knox County.
So there is a belief that we'll be there sooner, but we're extending it beyond that just in case. In discussions with the PUC, at this point, they would like to see us just take it back completely. So there's a plan to do some moving of staff to make sure that they're ready to go. The training is one thing, but they're going to put them in another center for a few days here and there just to be sure that their skills are still up to snuff. As soon as the directors and the PUC are comfortable with us taking it back, we should have it back. That the anticipation sometime in April, but we're asking through May just in case.
Wouldn't that be something? a tribute to all of the staff who've helped put this thing back together, so thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing as there's none, all those in favor? 2 in favor, none opposed. We have another action item that's at the bottom of the agenda that, if it's all right, we will move up under the rest of the action items. And this is an act to approve and authorize the chair to sign an interim county administrator agreement. An act to approve and authorize the chair to sign an interim county administrator agreement.
Oh, yes. I move we allow you to do that.
It's been moved, I'll second it. Any discussion? No? Well, I guess I'll discuss it a little bit. We had the opportunity to interview 3 candidates who came forward who wanted to be the interim county administrator. One of the reasons we need an interim county administrator is not because the sheriff is not doing an excellent job as the interim. There's 2 parts to it. One is, legally, we can't keep him doing this forever. And number 2, he's already overwhelmed with the number of jobs that he has. And so we would like him to go back to just having, I believe it's 10 jobs by doing this. This is a contract for up to 3 months. During this period of time, we will be advertising and trying to find a full-time county administrator. I expect that we have an advertisement that will be going out shortly if it hasn't already. And once it goes out, we expect to get a lot of requests. We're putting together a selection committee that will help choose it, go through weed through the applications, and once they're done with that, it'll come to the full commission to vote on, and we will work on a contract with whoever we decide to pick there. But in the meantime, we need somebody who's going to take some of the burden off of the sheriff, some of the burden off of staff, and hopefully find a way to get staff to step up and fill some of that space that's left over when you don't have a regular active all the time administrator. I think we've been fortunate in the 3 candidates we had. It's not a reflection on any of the other candidates that we picked the one that we think is the best match for this county, and that happens to be Gordon Page, who's been acting as a interim for a number of organizations. And so I think this will fit right in. For anybody who doesn't know Gordon, among other things, he was on the select board in Owl's Head. He was also on the Knox County Charter Committee that's been looking at the charter, so I think he'll fit right in. Gordon, would you like to say anything?
No, thank you.
A smart move.
Are you ready?
Any further discussion?
No, thank you.
Seeing as there's none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor? 2 in favor, none opposed. We will sign, should we sign it right now? Do you have the contract? That way we can let Gordon go if he wants to. Oh no, he's stuck here now, isn't he? There. There. Okay.
The rest of the day off.
Today is 2/13. Gordon signed.
You didn't change any of this, did you?
Only slightly.
Welcome to the county.
Yeah,
I'm talking about football now.
that's the regrets part, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Great.
Okay, on the agenda, we still have some discussion items. I'm a little hesitant to go too deep into anything here because Commissioner Pullman's not here. And I think part of the point of having discussion is to have all of the commissioners hear what's said. But I think we can work our way down through this list anyhow. The first one is discussion of county property, identified potential sale, and I think, Jeremy, you have some in this. This, I think, is for the Coastal Children's Museum. And we had looked at a piece of property that they were interested in.
So there's a parcel, so I would hesitate to say it's for the main Coastal Children's Museum, but that is a parcel that they've repeatedly expressed interest in. But there are other interested parties in that property as well. You know, as we've discussed in the past, it was originally purchased as a mitigation parcel for I believe it was the runway expansion project quite a few years ago. The DEP now says that parcel does not qualify as a mitigation parcel. It has no environmental value for retaining for that purpose. So the Army Corps of Engineers was supposed to file a conservation easement on that property. They never did. And where it has no mitigation value right now, they're willing to entertain a change in use. So that's been on the table for discussion for a few months now about what the county wants to do with that property. You know, the director had reached out to me a month ago, and I believe she reached out to the commission. And I believe the last administrator, just to check on progress and to a bid to request for proposals for what the county would like that property used for. When we first started this process a year ago, we identified properties as a way to help the town of Owl's Head get properties back on the tax rolls. The Children's Museum wouldn't satisfy that request or that initial interest, but it would add a benefit to the community as far as what they intend to do with the property. So there's a weight and balance there, but it's ultimately what the county would like to do with that property and how it's pursued. So at any time we can put together a request for proposals to find out the number of interested parties and go that route, but it's really you know, awaiting your direction for how we approach that.
Well, it seems like a request for proposals makes an awful lot of sense if you think there's other people other than the Children's Museum that are interested in it.
There are.
I have been, as you say, approached by the Children's Museum, and their plan is more than the Children's Museum. It's also to have some kind of daycare center there to help pay for this whole thing. They want to find a way to have maybe a small conference room there, whatever it's going to be. So not all of it will be tax exempt as far as they're concerned. They're expecting that some of it will not be tax exempt. And the question from them and from anybody else, and this is sort of where we fit in, how much work do we want to do to sell this piece of property? You know, do we want to have soil samples taken? Do we want to find out where they can put in, if they have to put in a septic system, how big, or do we want to leave that to the potential buyer? So they may have some expenses if they go through with this, whoever wants to do it. Do you know, a couple of questions I have is, do you know how much we paid originally for that piece?
I don't.
Or alternately, what's the value on it?
Yeah, because I believe it was purchased by MBNA. I believe it's all written out in the deed, and then I don't want to speak out of. I want to make sure I have the facts right before I say. But I believe it was a parcel that was purchased by MBNA, and then I'm not sure what the relationship after that between the county and MBNA was, whether it was a gift or if it was compensation. But that's easily tracked down in the deed.
Is this separate in any way from the county's, rest of the county's properties, so that it has a separate valuation from the town, or?
It is, it's an entirely different parcel, it's a separate parcel that's not, it's not a part of the airport proper parcel. So it's its own separate, the Transportation Museum's property is between the airport and this parcel,
And then the
which all used to be county property at one time, but
The other question is, do we have maps of that piece of property? I think I've seen them.
we do. We have maps, we have surveys, we looked at that for solar. So there was extensive research done. We have wetland delineations, where the vernal pools are. We've spent some money trying, because that was originally where we were doing our $11 million investment into solar. So we did spend a lot of time researching that parcel, and so that information is all readily available. Yeah.
Can I come meet with you at some point and take a look at what you've done?
Absolutely.
Good.
I would recommend that we have a statement that states that the county or the airport makes no guarantees as to the ability of anyone to utilize that property for whatever purpose, but they need to do their own due diligence and inspect it very wisely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I know that the Children's Museum in general has to raise quite a bit of money to build something. And they would like to know that they can buy that piece of property, so it may be some kind of a purchase and sales agreement if we decide we're going to go with them, so that they can then raise money against the fact that they can buy that piece of property.
Yep.
But I suspect if they really go through with something, the cost of the land is going to be among the least of the things that they're going to be spending money on.
Correct. Yeah, the amount of wetlands on the property will greatly mitigate the cost of that. So there's really a small area that is developable. So I think it'll be a reasonable price. I don't think it'll be an absorbent amount of money for the property.
They're also talking, because there's wetlands, they're using that as part of the Children's Museum itself. Let's find a way to incorporate that into the experience of kids playing in the mud. Or however they're going to wind up doing it. And we're also thinking about trying to find a way to connect with whatever trails the airport's going to be working towards. Yeah. Okay, I will meet with you and try to get some of that information, and then we'll talk about a request for proposals, if that makes sense. Yeah. What do you think, Rick? Request for proposals?
Sure, we could do that. But I would want that statement included in that.
Yeah.
That, because we can't make any guarantees as to its ability to be used for anything.
Yeah, and it may be, who knows what somebody may want it for something that is just to keep it as a,
Possibly.
you know, an undeveloped piece of property. I don't know what those possible uses are.
But yeah, it's a great mechanism to be like, this is what we have, you need to do your own research, and we will make as much of our research available to you as possible, but it's really up to your own research to determine if this will suit your needs.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. Any other discussion on it?
All set.
And then we also have on the table the airport manager Shaw's resignation. I don't know if we have to accept this, do we?
No.
Good. Yes, the resignation is separate, and we'll talk about that in a second. It means we have to try to find another person. Where do we stand on the advertising for that?
You should have in your packets the previous advertisement for you to review and provide any changes, and we'll make those and get it advertised. So.
The job has changed a lot in the last 4 years, and make sure that's reflected in the operations facility, and the county now leases hangars and solar, and charging stations, there's a lot of, it's a lot more complicated than what I was hired for. So that would be my recommendation, just review that. If you need me to provide input of what major changes have happened since then, happy to do that, but yeah, make sure to include those, because it's no longer just managing airport stuff. There's a lot of stuff outside of that.
But we can ask you to help us go through all that and just add your 2 cents to what the job really is.
What would happen if we didn't accept his resignation?
What's that?
What would happen if we didn't accept his resignation?
Charge you they will.
He just walked off to the next job. I don't think we really have that choice. Yes. And I think there must be other places we can advertise for a position like that, like airport, magazines of some sort or another.
We are,
In-flight magazines. Can we just be in those?
I think we can.
Yeah, there's the American Association of Airport Executives, and they have a running job bank of airport manager jobs and stuff like that. So
This is not the kind of job that just advertising in like Maine Municipal will get us the best candidates.
There's only, what, 3 airports in the state, four airports in the state, right?
the 32 airports in the state,
As far as
6 of them are
managers.
commercial. Yeah, Presque Isle, Augusta, Bar Harbor, Portland. But no, there's probably 28 are managed. Yeah, and it's at varying levels.
If you can provide us with a list of all of the airport management, networking, and avenues that are available.
Yep.
The Matinicus Island Airport Director
Authority.
can apply.
Yeah.
Rick, any discussion on new business? And as far as your resignation goes, I'm always sad to see when any of our employees leaves, especially a director and somebody who's, as you say, the job is not the same job it was when you started, and that's your fault. I mean, you've
CARES
taken
Act's
on,
fault, but yeah,
you
I
have
took the
taken
bullet.
on more things and made it into more of a job, and you're the one who has made the airport into a different airport than it was 4 years ago. So we owe you an awful lot of thanks for that. Though that's a backhanded way of saying, oh, now we have to get somebody of your caliber in there, and they may not be easy.
Yeah. It's a lot, but it's achievable, and the airport is on the map, and I think we've done a lot to work with our host community to ease some of those fears. Steps have been put into place to involve the community more, and I think that's where the shortcomings had been, and I think that we'll come out on the other side much more community-minded, or input is accepted, and so yeah. But there's a lot. But it's a great airport, great community, great staff. So I have no doubts that it will succeed greatly.
And I suspect that when you have an airport that's growing and changing, there's no good time to leave it.
Never, no.
Because there are still a whole bunch of projects that are in the process of being done. And unfortunately, you're not going to be there to help guide them. So.
I'll be around, but I had a vision, and the next person will have a vision, and if we all collectively work for the good of the county and its residents, then we'll succeed. So there's no one right vision.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Anything you'd like to add, Rick?
No, other than he's gonna be a hard man to replace, I'll tell you that.
Yes. Next thing that we have for discussion is staffing discussion.
Just updates mostly. So as we've talked about, most of your staffing is now up to par. Corrections, one dispatch, the 2 that were the hardest hit are almost there. Corrections, we are sitting on only 3 vacancies remaining out of the 30 corrections positions. So we've made some great progress there. Dispatch are 10 of the 14, correct? So we have 4 remaining positions to fill there. Still having some conversations with individuals that are interested in possibly either coming back or moving here. So we feel that those should be able to be filled hopefully by summer, as long as we keep on the path we're going on. There are some single incumbent positions still open, which can be challenging when, from the sheriff's standpoint, most of my jobs have multiple people. But when you've got a department of 3 and you lose one person, that's 1/3 of the staff, and a few of those places are in that boat. Jeremy is one of those in particular. His administrative assistant has been missing for a few months, and that has a huge impact on the extra work that has to be done. So we're going to be moving forward quickly at the end of this week to put a few more of those advertisements back out there, just to get those positions filled. But overall, most places are doing well. It's just a matter of getting us caught back up. So.
Question, are there other departments that are absent that have the vacancies?
Yeah, I have the list I can get you. We said the meeting this morning, but should be here. So admin, airport AA, I think deeds is now full, probate is now full, corrections, just a few vacancies. Dispatch, like we just talked about. I think most everybody's good. Finance, but they're back to having full staff as well. There's 2 or 3 positions. I'll get you the exact ones.
Rick, any other questions?
I do not.
Also on the discussion is the opioid settlement.
Yes, so we got some documents in the mail directly from some of the big pharma groups. I reached out to legal counsel, so for those that are not aware, Knox has its own legal counsel with regard to the opioid settlements that the state of Maine is on. So some local communities and counties signed on earlier and are part of a different group than the state version that's going on. We know those that signed on earlier. We do have legal counsel that represents us on that. I did reach out to them. They said there's nothing that we need to do on our end with the paperwork we received, that they will take care of it all and update us hopefully soon. So for those that are tuning in, the opioid side of things is this is an ongoing settlement. The idea is that the state and those of us that have legal counsel are going after each pharmaceutical company almost independently, because they've got to do that in order to then eventually get towards class action. So that's why legal counsel said anything we get, just send to them and they'll take care of it, just to make sure that we don't kind of step out of order when it comes to that stuff. So.
Have we gotten any money yet? Or
We
just a promise of some money?
So we did get some with promises of more to come. So we got approximately 200 and change thousand, which that is being put towards MAT corrections. A lot of the things that the Attorney General's office has recommended that at least county level what we do with it. So when we talked with Mr. Attorney and myself, and then brought to you guys the budget committee this last year, that's where the majority of those funds are going towards, is to help supplement that part of the budget. So that is only a small amount compared to what we were promised to get in the long run. So, but those funds will be coming at some point when we don't know, and you have not obligated those, so it will be up for discussion at some point.
How much more was promised?
Unknown exact amounts depending on how the settlements went and how bankruptcies went, but it could be probably in the million-ish. But again, that was not necessarily promised, but what it could be. So.
And then the last thing we have on the agenda under discussion items is restorative justice letter of apology.
So, Rick may remember, we all may remember, so there was some damage done to the properties here around the building last year. Our maintenance manager was involved with that. There was some, not necessarily criminal proceedings, but proceedings including RJP, maintenance manager. I think some of the local groups that we work with were involved, because the vandalism was committed by some youth in the community. Since getting RJP involved in working through this, several of those members have written us some apology letters and are also working towards trying to make us whole for the damage that they did. So I provided it to you, and if you would like, I can read the letter out loud for all. But it's just to kind of showcase that you know, there is work being done behind the scenes. It is getting some positive results. It's helping to turn some of the youth around and some of the behaviors.
I'm assuming that's the letter that was in our packet that I couldn't read.
Yes, it's a little, because it was written with a pencil, so it's a little hard to photocopy, so.
Yeah, I would love to see the original so I can have a chance to read
Have
it.
it here if you would like.
Thank you. Anything else to discuss? No? There's an awful lot of people in the audience. I'll open it up for public comment if anybody else has anything they would like to add before we go into executive session. Seeing as there's none, I will entertain a motion to go into executive session pursuant to, for a personnel matter pursuant to 1 MRSA 405 Section 6A.
So moved.
And I will second it. Any discussion? Seeing as there's none, all those in favor? 2 in favor, none opposed. God, you know they've got to be desperate if they call him.
Yes.
I'm just watching to the camera.
Would you like a motion?
Not yet.
Wait,
No, she's waiting for the light.
Waiting for the camera.
Yes.
I saw the
In case
light.
Steve-
I saw the
We're
light.
recording.
There we go. Steve will watch this later, because if he's not here, he watches.
We are back in regular session. Is there any further business to come before the commission? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
It's been moved, I will second it. Any discussion? We don't have any real meetings scheduled at this point, do we?
Well, there will be some coming along, other than.
Oh, okay, good.
But was it March or April that we moved?
The April one.
It's April.
Yeah.
We moved.
But I mean, so at this point, we don't have any other February, we will have other February meetings, but not at this
We
point.
just don't know what yet.
Yeah, okay.
The
Isn't
next-
a charter review and the commissioner's supposed to take place? in February?
Yes, we're waiting for a report from the charter committee, though there is a possibility of the charter committee making a different recommendation. So we may see where that goes before they bring it to the commission.
I'm meeting with Charlie tomorrow morning.
Good. Are you discussing the charter and
I think we're
the,
gonna discuss a lot of things.
okay, good.
Other than
Nothing
March
further,
12th.
I will take the vote. All those in favor of adjournment? 2 in favor, none opposed. We are adjourned at somewhere in the neighborhood of 4:40 something.
3:43.
3:40.